Hi, I'm Olga, and today we're making a breakfast pie, but not just a breakfast pie, a simple one, but full of protein, full of deliciousness, but at the same time it's low in carbs and it's grain-free. I love breakfast pies like this because on the busy days and the busy mornings, all I have to do is to pop this in a toaster, toast it a little bit with a cup of low-fat yogurt and a cup of tea. I have my full breakfast ready within like just a few minutes, and that is also easy to eat. And sometimes I can also bring this with me somewhere for a quick snack if I'm out of the house somewhere as well. In this recipe, I'm using plums as a fruit on this pie. Plums are delicious and they're in season right now. But you can use any fruit you want. You can use apples, peaches, berries, whatever strikes your fancy. But let me show you how I make it. For this recipe, we're going to need, I laid out all the ingredients here. So first of all, 5 eggs and 1 cup of cottage cheese. I use the low-fat cottage cheese, but you can use regular one as well. We're gonna need plums. I laid out 5 here, but I'm not sure how many I'm gonna use right now. And we're gonna need almond flour and arrowroot starch. You can get it from Amazon. We're gonna need a little bit of salt. To help it rise up, we're gonna need either baking powder, but because it contains cornstarch, I don't use baking powder. I just put it to show you, and instead I use cream of tartar mixed with baking soda. And what else is here? For sweeteners, I like to keep it low carb with stevia extract and a little bit of monk fruit sweetener. And for flavorings, we're gonna use vanilla, and if you wish, a little bit of cinnamon to sprinkle on top. And I think I remembered everything here. As for the equipment, you're gonna need an oven. You're gonna need a cookie sheet. I line mine with parchment paper. You're gonna need a mixing bowl and a hand blender. I'm going to preheat the oven before I start making the dough to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 190 degrees Celsius. I first start with making the dough with the wet ingredients. So we're gonna start with the eggs. I will break 5 eggs into the bowl. And then I add 1 cup of cottage cheese. I use low-fat cottage cheese, but honestly, I was disappointed when I ChatGPT the recipe and calculated how many calories and fat is in low-fat cottage cheese in the final product versus full-fat. The difference was literally just a few calories per serving. So you can use whichever one you wish, and I really didn't taste any difference between them. So it's up to you which one you want to use. I like to keep my breakfast bread low in carbs as much as possible. It's not free of carbs, but I try to keep it sugar-free, so I'm using liquid stevia. Usually for baking recipes, I use about 3 squirts like this. It's not a full one, as you can see. That usually gives me enough sweetness. And here is the secret I learned years ago. To balance out the sweetness, the unpleasant sweetness of stevia that some people don't like, you can use pink salt. It has to be pink salt, a little bit in the recipe, and it usually takes away the stevia flavor. So I wonder if it works for you. Let me know. All right, so pink salt, just a little bit. I use specifically pink salt because just a few grinds, because somehow it balances out the flavor of liquid stevia. Now we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla. I need my measuring spoon. All right, so a teaspoon of vanilla. Honestly, when I don't cook for the camera, I don't barely use measuring spoons. I just splash things here and there. But since I'm cooking the recipe, I want to give people a little bit more guidance than just a splash of things. To give the dough a nice fluffiness, I use cream of tartar and baking soda mixed. You can use baking powder if you're okay with it. My only problem, I don't use corn flour. I cannot use anything corn, so I avoid it because it has cornstarch in the ingredients. But 2 teaspoons of baking powder or 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I love cream of tartar. And baking soda. I use the red milk because it's considered to be more natural, but any baking soda. When I don't have red milk, I use regular almond. It's just fine. Now we need to blend everything until it's all beautiful, creamy, homogeneous texture. It's gonna be noisy. So this is what the dough looks like before we add the flour, after we mixed all the previous ingredients. This is before we add the flour. See, it's kind of thick but creamy. And there is no pieces of cottage cheese, it's all blended in. Now the flour. Almond flour, we need 2 cups. Of course, it has to be blanched almond flour. It gives it nice kind of texture to the dough. I love almond flour. It's been my regular flour for many years. And then we need arrowroot flour and arrowroot starch. Arrowroot starch does not have any grains in it. It's made out of some kind of banana-like fruit, but it's gluten-free, grain-free. It's relatively low in glycemic index, but it adds nice crispiness to our bread, and it also feeds the good gut bacteria if you care about your microbiome. And now I'm gonna blend it again until everything is well mixed. I'll scrape off the sides a little bit. We don't want anything to go to waste here. So this is what it looks like when it's a fully finished dough. The dough is ready. The batter, whatever you want to call it, should be like this creamy consistency. And I pour it on the parchment paper. Scrape off the bowl as much as I can. I use a silicone spatula. I like that it's making me waste less dough. That is getting stuck on the sides of the bowl. And now I'm just gonna spread it to the corners of the cookie sheet. I like that I am able to avoid using too much fat in this recipe. I know there is fat already from the dairy, from cottage cheese and from eggs, but I don't add any oils or anything, just to keep it moderately fatty, I would say. And with the parchment paper, I don't have to use extra fat to not have it getting stuck to the sides or to the bottom of the pan. So I just spread it like this as evenly as I can. Technically, you can already bake it and it's gonna be delicious breakfast bread. But we're gonna add some plums in here now. Now I'm gonna cut the plums into slices to layer it on top of the pie. So I like to use firm plums here. You can also use apples here, peaches. You can even put berries on top of this same dough, and it's gonna be a little bit different but delicious breakfast cake. But here I'm gonna be using plums, and just to make them a little bit prettier, I'm gonna cut them into thin slices like this. Can you see what I'm doing? So now I'm gonna take these slices and layer them on top, and I'm gonna keep cutting it until I fill in the whole pie like this. So here I am laying, and you see, just for aesthetic purposes, I am laying one row of plums facing that direction and the slices, and then this one in this direction. And then I'm gonna alternate them. Just it looks prettier. Here I thought that 5 plums would be more than plenty, but I ended up cutting another 6 plum here just to finish. Oh, I still need another half. Few slices missing, but it looks pretty, right? Oh, I'm almost cutting myself. You gotta be careful when you're cutting out the pits. And one for the road. So here, all the plums are layered here. It took me almost full 6 plums. Of course, it depends on the thinness of slices that you cut, but the plums were kind of on the small side. But here we are. The very first time when I made this recipe, I did not put any sweetener on top of the plums, and it was a little bit sour on top. So I decided that it's a good idea to add a little bit of sweetness to balance it out, because the plums are not very sweet on top here. And I'm using monk fruit with erythritol. Just a little bit. You can use regular sugar, brown sugar, maybe even honey, whichever one is your favorite sweetener. And the last step is kind of optional. It's up to you if you want to use it, but I'm gonna sprinkle with a little bit of cinnamon. Every time I'm filming something, I have an ingredient that is almost finished. Last time I ran out of salt in the middle of my video, and today I'm running out of cinnamon. It smells delicious already because of the cinnamon. Now in the oven it goes. Alright, my oven is ready a long time ago, since I preheated it when I was filming the video. But in the oven it goes for about 20 minutes. I'm putting it in the middle rack, and I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes. But all ovens differ. If you have a strong oven, I would recommend that you set it maybe for 18 minutes and watch it after that. I put it for 20 minutes, but I may end up adding a little bit more time, depending on how it goes, since this is my only second time cooking this recipe. So this is 20 minutes, but I decided to give it another 1 more minute before I take it out. Just fresh out of the oven, steaming hot and looking good. I was just trying to cut this pie to show it to you on the inside, and I was trying to cut it not to destroy the topping of it, and I didn't cut it into equal parts. But if you look at the recipe, One serving is 1/24 of the pie, so you need to cut it into 24 even slices to get the nutritional label that I'm gonna be posting under the recipe. According to ChatGPT that I just searched, each piece of this bread, 1/24 of it, which is about sliced like this. I didn't cut them very evenly, but it all averages out in the end. So each slice has 64 calories, 3.3 grams of protein, 3.6 grams of fat, and 5.3 grams of carbohydrates, which is not that bad. If you eat 2 slices, you already almost 7 grams of protein in it. And this is a perfect, nutritiously balanced breakfast for a busy morning. The bread is full of protein because the main sources of protein here are cottage cheese and eggs. And it's easy to eat. All I do is just pop it in a toaster and with a side of low-fat yogurt and green tea. It's a full breakfast. For this pie, I will keep it in the refrigerator in an airtight container, any leftovers of it, and when I'm about to serve it, I will pop it into the toaster oven and toast it just like I would toast regular bread, and it comes out delicious again.